Hooray! Another Posy art video coming at ya! And in today's video, I'm going to be drawing some rainbow insects with alcohol markers and colored pencils, so let's get started. First on the chopping block is this little bee, and I have so many stories about bees, and one of the most memorable ones I have is when I was at Six Flags as a teenager, and I went to go get a drink out of my cup, and it was a cup from Six Flags. They were just these kind of tall cups with lids, and they had bendy straws, and the straws were very thick, if you know what I mean. As I was chugging my drink, because I was really hot and I was super thirsty, I went and I started chugging my drink, and next thing I know, there's something buzzing around in my mouth. I could feel it moving around, and I immediately spit it out. And guess what it was? It was a little bee, and before I could even realize what was going on, my tongue got super swollen, and it turns out that the bee had stung my tongue. Therefore, we had to go walk around, me and my friends, to find somebody that worked there, and I had to get into a little clinic where they dug the stinger out of my tongue with a popsicle stick. And for the time being, my tongue was swollen, and I was talking like this the whole time, and everybody was laughing at me, and it was funny, haha, I was drooling everywhere like a silly goose. But yeah, that's my bee stung me on the tongue because it was in my straw at Six Flags story. Like, out of all the places that you could get stung, I get stung in my mouth. Like, oh my gosh, what if I swallowed it? What if it stung me, like, further down my throat? What if it stung me in the tonsils? That would have been way worse. So I think I got pretty lucky with that situation. This next story wasn't a bee, but a wasp. And I hate wasps. I think they're mean. I think they're aggressive. And I was sitting in my car with my door open, and it was really cold outside. I live in a very cold state, so it's like wintertime right now. So you're not expecting any wasp to be flying around bothering you. But this thing landed on my leg, and I thought it was like a leaf that had fallen from a tree, and I looked down. No, it's a wasp. And it just landed on my leg, and so I'm sitting there stiff as a board, and I call my boyfriend on my cell phone, and I'm like, there's a wasp on my leg, and I don't know what to do. So I kind of just awkwardly sit there and let this wasp make itself at home on my leg. I say to myself, this is it. My life is over. It's officially over. And as I was accepting my fate, it flew away. No goodbye, no farewell, just awkwardly flew away with nothing to say. Not even a thank you for using my leg as a rest stop. Moving on to the dragonfly, I just take my alcohol markers and I do the base layer that I always do. Before I made this video, I was like, should I make every insect like every single color? But then I thought that would be like kind of boring. But maybe it's not boring, I don't know, I'm indecisive. But I decided to just make each insect their own kind of color story. They each have 3 colors except for the butterfly, which you can't see yet. But so I'm just outlining the wings with a colored pencil, filling in all the lines. And I used to see dragonflies a lot when I was younger, but I feel like I never see them anymore. I used to go to this pond where I would fish, and there would always be dragonflies there because I think they're attracted to water, and that's just kind of where they live. I think they're born in the water. I don't know. Don't dragonfly eggs start off in the water and they have to like make their way out? I don't know. That seems like a really hard way to start life. But whatever. Nature's beautiful. But have you actually seen like those giant ass freaking dragonflies? Like, I've seen some dragonflies flying around in my yard during the summer months, and they're massive. They're like on steroids, and they're making these clicking sounds. And up until recently, I didn't think that dragonflies could bite you, but indeed they can, and they have like little pinchers in their mouth area, and they could actually like pinch your skin off, because I saw a video of a guy holding one and like literally like letting it chew on his damn finger. Like, what? One thing I like to do when I come across insects of any kind is I like to look up the mythological meaning of them. So like earlier when that wasp landed on my leg, I literally looked up what does this mean? Like in a very metaphysical way, like what's the meaning behind a wasp? Did it mean something special? And I actually have this book. It's called the Dream Dictionary, and it has all kinds of words in there, and it tells you, like, it's like if you're dreaming about something and you let's say you dream about a horse, and then you would look up the word horse in this book, and it would tell you why you were dreaming of a horse and how it's like connected to your actual life and blah blah blah. But yeah, so I like to look up the meaning of certain things. So when I see like a dragonfly, I'm like, oh, that must mean something. That must mean like I'm lucky or something good's gonna happen. I have a handful of silly insect horror stories. And so if you also have one that you are willing to share, please leave it in the comments, because I would love to read about how you got stung by a scorpion in your eyeball. Moving on to the butt hair fly. I really feel like I didn't do this one justice because it's only two-toned. I mean, it still looks good, but I feel like I should have added another color because the other insects have 3 colors, and I just went for a two-tone on this one. And I just feel like it could have been more colorful, but it still looks great. Doesn't it? Tell me it looks great. Please tell me it looks great so I don't hate it. I don't know if this is still a thing, but do y'all remember when you could literally buy butterfly eggs and they would send it to you in the mail in like this little butterfly kit where you have the eggs and they hatch and you take care of the caterpillars and then they turn into the cocoon or the chrysalis and whatever, and then the butterflies come out and you literally just release them? Like, you could literally just buy that in the mail. Like, how cool is that? You could literally have the whole life cycle of a butterfly in your bedroom for fun. I don't know if this is the right time of year for it, but I think I want to try that, and if I do, then I'll post about it. I don't know if I've even mentioned this at all, or if y'all have caught on at this point, but I am born and raised in Texas, y'all. I don't live in Texas anymore. I currently live in Washington State, which is a completely different world than Texas, but when I lived in Texas, I went on a family trip to Houston, which was about 5 hours away from my hometown. And the reason why we were going to Houston was to visit the Houston Museum. And let me tell you, that place is incredible. And the part that I want to get to in this story is there was a part of this museum that was its own kind of section, which was the Butterfly Sanctuary. And what it was this indoor kind of nature-y path thing that you walk, like you just walk through it, and there's trees and plants, and it's inside of this glass dome, and it's very humid in there for the reason of that there was just butterflies everywhere out in the open. It's literally like a butterfly jungle in there, and it's just this thing that you walk through and you can like see up close butterflies just flying all around you. They're landing on your face, they're landing right in front of you. It was a really good opportunity to get some great pictures and videos of butterflies, and you could just see like these little kids, like they're just so in awe at these butterflies just like landing on their fingers and stuff, and it was so beautiful. And that was probably one of the best butterfly experiences I've ever had, and I've never forgotten about it to this day. So if you are in Texas, or if you know of that museum and you've been to that butterfly sanctuary, let me know what your experience was like. Anyways, here I go, just finishing off this butterfly with the white gel pen and adding the little white dots on the black areas before moving on to the background. I never ever do any kind of background for my sketches. Like if I just do a page full of sketches, I just kind of sketch and then leave it at that. But I really wanted to tie this whole page together. And I was thinking, well, my yard is full of blackberry bushes, so maybe that would be a good addition to add to the negative space of this sketch page. So I just quickly sketched out some blackberry leaves and vines, hoping that it wouldn't ruin the entire page, but once it's done, it's done. I can't erase ink. And this ink that I'm using is, it's like the Prismacolor line of like ink pens, and most of them are just like liner pens, but they had this broad tipped one in there, which came in handy for filling in these leaves like super fast. And the berries also I filled in with the black, which probably wasn't the best idea because as you see here, I tried going over it with a Prismacolor pencil and the color wasn't showing up that well, which it doesn't do that with black alcohol marker. Like if I would have filled this in with black alcohol marker, that color pencil probably would have shown up a lot better. But it wasn't that important to me, so I just kind of let it go, and I finished off the details with some white gel pen, and I think it turned out all right. Would I do that if it was like an official piece? No, I would probably spend more time on it and probably do a different approach. And then as I was looking at the drawing as a whole, I realized there was still a lot of empty space, so I went ahead and took some alcohol marker and started making some little abstract marks for little abstract visuals around each insect. I chose a different color for each insect, and I also did this technique with my blue whimsical spider painting. I just did little, like, I don't even know what shape to call this mark, but I just made marks like this around the spider to fill in the space. And I kind of like adding the abstract elements to my art. I think it's very fun, especially like when you mix the detailed drawings with some abstract kind of elements around it or with it. I just feel like it's a really nice visual balance. To be honest, I don't normally do finished looking sketch pages like this. I normally do hideous sketching for the purpose of practicing for more finalized artwork, but I found this really fun. So I'll be making more videos like this in the future, so make sure to subscribe to not miss any videos that I'll be posting. And I also have a website at posyart.com where I have some cool stuff that I think you would like, including a print available of a dragonfly that I did recently. So check it out if you feel like it, and thanks so much for watching my video. Goodbye!